statements. Immediately, his family found out about his misdeeds when they were contacted. His parents, being strict but fair, sent David back home. He ended up doing hard labor as a live-in worker. My transfer to another branch was officially decided because of the commotion caused by David's resentful attacks. It's far enough that the staff there doesn't know about the trouble. It seemed I'd be able to work quietly, and I was being warmly supported and sent off by everyone around me. David would have mocked it as a demotion if he were here. However, my diligent work has been appreciated. It's even better conditions than before. The new life is challenging, but I got a fulfilling job. Finally, a peaceful life without problems is starting.
I'm driving right now. Can you wait?
I called my husband Jarvis, trying to hold back my anger. Jarvis answered the phone with a slightly irritated tone. I pretended to be clueless and started talking in a deliberately cheerful voice.
Driving? But the car's right here. What are you talking about? Oh, are you in this luxurious hotel by any chance? What? What are you talking about? Just so you know, your parents are coming over soon, so be ready.
After saying that, I hung up the phone without waiting for a reply. My name is Roberta. Ever since our daughter Stephanie was born, I've been a housewife. Jarvis and I, married for 10 years, never really fought and lived happily with our daughter. Jarvis is a salesman and often traveled out of state for work. But every time he went on a business trip, he always brought back souvenirs for us.
I'm home, got some souvenirs.
Welcome back. What's the treat today?
Today, it's Stephanie's favorite pudding. Yay! Let's eat it right away.
Life was enjoyable like this, and I often wished for these happy moments to continue. As Stephanie reached her upper elementary years, Jarvis's business trips became more frequent, shifting from once a month to almost every 10 days. Is it normal for business trips to be this frequent? I wondered, but thought. Sales position must be busy, and being busy is good. I didn't worry too much. Jarvis seemed to get busier with work, sometimes even working during his days off. Working on your day off? Yeah, I have to. Sorry. That must be hard. Stephanie will need more money as she grows, so I'm working while I can. Jarvis always seemed reliable, never showing fatigue despite the frequent business trips. I thought he was a great father. Even though I was concerned about his frequent business trips, I continued to see Jarvis off. I had no idea things would turn out like this. Well, I'm off. I'll probably be back tomorrow night.
Take care, see you soon.
Even though it was Saturday, Jarvis said he had a business trip and left for out of state. His trips were usually overnight and returned late. What should I make for dinner tonight? As I pondered and cleaned the room, I noticed a black file on the living room table. This file, usually used by Jarvis for work, contained documents for clients.
Isn't this something he'd be in trouble if he forgot?
I thought and immediately called Jarvis. But it seemed he didn't notice the call, and he didn't answer. I sent messages in a rush, but got no reply.
If he doesn't have this for sales, won't that be a problem?
I waited anxiously for Jarvis to get in touch, but it took him 5 hours to finally call back. Jarvis usually got pretty upset when he made a mistake, but he sounded oddly cheerful on the phone.
Sorry, I was so busy with work I didn't notice. Were you okay without the file?
Yeah, I managed. Luckily, the guy I was with had the documents. When Jarvis said this with a laugh, I felt a sense of discomfort. Huh? Weren't you supposed to go alone this time? Oh, suddenly, there was someone who came along. He's a newbie, so we decided to take him to introduce him to the client. You know, the boss sprung it on me out of the blue. It's a bit of a hassle.
I see, that must have been tough. Good job.
At this point, I felt something was off, but I didn't suspect Jarvis of anything shady. The next day, Jarvis returned home past 10 p.m. He usually came home after his business trips these days. I'm home, totally exhausted.
Welcome back. You'll eat dinner, right?
Oh, I already ate. I'm just gonna shower and go to bed. After handing me his laundry, Jarvis headed straight to the shower. While putting the clothes in the washing machine, I noticed a long, light-colored hair on Jarvis's shirt. It's longer than mine or Stephanie's. A woman's hair. My heart raced, facing something I'd never encountered before. A woman's hair is on a shirt he wore back from a business trip. In dramas or cartoons, such things often lead to the discovery of infidelity, but I thought that couldn't be the case. Jarvis had been on a business trip, and perhaps he was taken to a bar for business socializing. Being taken to a bar by clients is common. Though less frequent now, Jarvis used to often go out for drinks as part of his job in sales. It seemed that maintaining relationships is an important part of sales. And Jarvis, being so earnest, wouldn't cheat. I believed. Still feeling unsettled, I spoke to Jarvis while he was in the shower. "There's a long hair on your shirt." Jarvis responded calmly. "Ah, probably from the hotel. It was a bit old and not well maintained." "Maybe it's from a previous guest?" "Really? That dirty, huh?" Jarvis's unflustered response reassured me. If he had something to hide, he would have been more panicked. Seeing Jarvis so normal, I thought he must be fine. Looking back, I regret not being more suspicious then. It could have prevented what happened later. After his shower, Jarvis went to the bedroom as usual, showing no signs of change. However, the next day, I discovered something unbelievable. As I was about to throw out the trash in the laundry room, I noticed something fall from the trash can. "What's this?" Picking it up, I realized it was a restaurant receipt. The unfamiliar restaurant name caught my eye, and I noticed the date was from 2 days ago. That is the date Jarvis was on a business trip, which made me feel strange. The receipt was for 2 people, which made it clear he went there with someone. A meal with a client, maybe. That's what I thought, but then I realized something. If it was a business meal, it would be expensed, and he'd need to keep the receipt according to company policy. A mere receipt, thrown away as trash, didn't seem like a business meal. Then who was he with? I pondered, staring at the receipt, noticing the time was marked as 10 p.m. Could Jarvis really be having a dinner with a client after 10 p.m.? The more I thought about it, the deeper my suspicions grew. Until yesterday, I was convinced of this. Jarvis couldn't possibly be cheating. But putting all the recent events together, I couldn't help but find it suspicious. Could he be cheating? For the first time, I began to think like that. Once I started doubting, I wanted to investigate thoroughly. So I decided to hire a detective to look into Jarvis. His frequent business trips seemed dubious, and the woman's hair on his shirt, and him dining late with someone, all bothered me. After hiring the detective, I was told it would take 2 weeks to get the results. Coincidentally, Jarvis had another business trip scheduled in a few days. I informed the detective and left their office. What if all these business trips were lies to meet his mistress? While talking with the detective, I couldn't help but worry.
Okay, I'm off then.
Safe travels. A few days later, Jarvis left for his trip as usual. Since I confronted him about the hair, Jarvis had started locking his mobile phone. He was never concerned about his phone before, but now he even took it to the bathroom. It only increased my suspicions. Is he cheating on me after all? The thought made me both dread and eagerly await the detective's findings. 2 weeks later, when the results were due, I went to the detective's office. The result revealed that Jarvis was having an affair. He was cheating with a woman around his age. Just as I had suspected, he was meeting her under the guise of business trips. It seemed that his increased trips were all for the affair, starting from when it began to increase. The detective provided several photos as evidence. Seeing those photos, I nearly screamed. The woman was my friend Esty. I met her at Stephanie's preschool and we got close due to similar pickup times. We'd visited each other's homes, but I rarely saw Jarvis and Esty talking. Esty moved out of the school district when her child started elementary school, due to her husband's job. We lost touch after she moved. Not connecting on social media, so I had no idea what she was doing, but she was close with my husband. The photos showed Esty and Jarvis entering a hotel arm in arm, chatting happily at a cafe, and walking hand in a park, all undeniable evidence of their affair. I was shocked to discover that Jarvis, whom I trusted, was cheating with my friend. The fact that he had an affair with my friend and then acted as if nothing happened around our family was unbelievable. Knowing this truth, I felt it was impossible to continue living with him as a family. The word divorce floated in my mind. Even after returning from the detective's office, I kept thinking about what to do for my family. While I considered divorce, thinking of Stephanie made it hard to decide what was best. Days passed without finding an answer. When I was thinking about weekend plans on Friday, Jarvis made a suggestion. Got any plans for tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No, why?
Well, my parents want to take Stephanie somewhere. Is it okay if she stays overnight? I'll take her, so you can relax, Roberta. Honestly, I appreciated the offer. I didn't want to be with Jarvis, who I just discovered was cheating, and I planned to use the free time to look for a lawyer. Sure. Say hi to your parents for me. So, Jarvis and Stephanie left for his parents' house, and I stayed home to search for a lawyer. The next day, right after breakfast, Jarvis and Stephanie left.
Mom, we're off. Take care, see you later.
After seeing them off, I started searching online for a lawyer experienced in divorce mediation. Reading user reviews, I checked out law firms with good reputations. While researching, I was also messaging Stephanie. An hour had passed since they left. Have you arrived yet? Not yet. Waiting for Dad. Where did Dad go? Don't know. He told me to wait, so I'm reading a book. Finding it odd, I checked Stephanie's mobile phone GPS. Incredibly, it was pointing to a bustling downtown area, completely opposite from his parents' place. Further inspection showed the car parked at a luxury hotel. The GPS location remained static. Could he have left Stephanie in the car and gone into the hotel? I had a bad feeling and immediately called his parents. Hi. Hi, Sharon. It's Roberta. Are Jarvis and Stephanie there? No, they haven't come. We were out visiting Grace today. Were they coming over? If they're not there, it's fine. I'll call back later. Shocked by the words of my mother-in-law Sharon, I managed to end the call. Then I called Stephanie, who sounded bored. Dad's not back yet, and I'm bored.
Sorry, honey. Mom's coming to pick you up. Okay. What about Dad?
I'll contact Dad too, don't worry. After assuring Stephanie, I called back his parents. This time my father-in-law Gabe answered. I quickly explained the situation. When I told them Jarvis was cheating and had left Stephanie in the car while at a hotel, they were furious.
What is he thinking, dragging Stephanie into this?
I'm heading to the hotel now, can you pick up Stephanie?
Sure, we're on our way.
I gave them the hotel's location and left home with the evidence from the detective. The luxury hotel where Jarvis was a 30-minute drive. Arriving at the parking lot, I saw Stephanie innocently waving at me. Seeing her, my anger towards Jarvis grew.
I'm so tired of waiting.
Sorry, let's go home first. Stephanie seemed unaware of the situation, which was a small relief. About 10 minutes later, his parents arrived. After handing Stephanie over to them, I decided to wait for Jarvis.
Okay, Stephanie, let's go eat parfait with Grandma and Grandpa.
Sharon, trying to keep Stephanie from sensing the adults' tense atmosphere, spoke cheerfully. After seeing the in-laws off, I called Jarvis. I'm sure he is in the middle of a very exciting time, so he would surely be irritated if I phoned him. Following a long ring, Jarvis answered annoyingly as I expected.
What now? I'm driving. Can you wait? Driving? But the car's here. What are you talking about? Oh, are you in this luxurious hotel by any chance? What? What are you talking about? Just so you know, your parents are coming here, so be prepared.
Of course, this was a lie. I thought that if I told him his parents were coming, he would surely panic. With that thought, I unilaterally ended the call. As I anticipated, Jarvis hurried out of the hotel within 5 minutes. Obviously having dressed in haste, his shirt buttons were mismatched. Esty, who came out with him, sped off in her car upon seeing me. I had no intention of letting her get away easily. I had planned to give Esty a piece of my mind later on.
Huh? Why are you here? Where's Stephanie? What are you doing, Jarvis? Leaving our daughter in the parking lot for an affair? Unbelievable!
Jarvis, who rarely saw me angry, shrank back. But leaving our daughter alone in a car for an affair, that was unforgivable. I thought it was unbelievable to bring her to a hotel parking lot in the first place.
It's not what you think!
His feeble excuses only exasperated me more.
What do you mean not what I think? Helping her with parenting. That's all. No affair, just talking in the lobby.
As Jarvis stammered, I pulled out an envelope from my bag.
No affair? Then what's this?
I showed him the photos from the detective. Seeing them, Jarvis collapsed to his knees. He seemed to have given up making excuses.
We're going to your parents' house to talk.
I left the parking lot first. Arriving at the in-laws' house, Stephanie had already fallen asleep, maybe because she was tired. No wonder she waited in the car for so long. The sight of her only fueled my anger towards Jarvis. An hour after I arrived, Jarvis showed up. To be so late would indicate that he didn't want to come home. Gabe was waiting, arms crossed, at the entrance. Upon Jarvis's arrival, Gabe lashed out loudly.
What have you done? Say something!
Let's go inside, Sharon suggested, guiding us in. The atmosphere inside was so heavy. Gabe broke the silence.
What were you doing at that hotel?
I was having an affair.
Who with?
A mother of Stephanie's kindergarten friend. Gabe sighed heavily. Then he said quietly,
You're no longer welcome in this house. Don't come back. What do you want to do, Roberta?
Asked by Gabe, I voiced what I had been considering.
I'm thinking of divorce. I won't even let Stephanie see him anymore.
Until yesterday, I was uncertain about divorce, but today's events were decisive. I didn't need a husband who couldn't consider our daughter. That's what I decided.
Divorce? No, not that. You have no right to say anything.
Gabe shouted, silencing Jarvis again. My anger erupted too.
Don't want a divorce? Speak for yourself. Lying about business trips to cheat. I always thought it was odd, going on trips every week.
You were lying like that?
Yes. I went to a detective agency, and they found this evidence.
I showed the in-laws the photos the detective had given me. They sighed heavily, unable to say anything. Jarvis, cornered, started crying. His weeping infuriated me more, and I yelled,
Why are you crying? I'm the one who should be crying.
Jarvis stayed silent, fighting back tears. I took out the divorce papers I had prepared and had him fill them out on the spot. We agreed on the terms for the divorce settlement. I'll file these tomorrow. Can you pack your things and leave? Understood. Jarvis left to collect his belongings. We stayed with the in-laws for a few days, just to be safe. They were concerned about Stephanie and me. Roberta, if Jarvis stops paying, we'll cover the divorce settlement. I can't accept that. It's fine. Jarvis